Japan's nuclear nightmare as radiation spreads. 140,000 people are being told to stay indoors. Hello, I'm Lauren Taylor. This is Aljazeera live from Doha. Also in the programme, the torment for survivors of Japan's tsunami, still looking for lost loved ones. Plus a state of emergency and a violent crackdown on protesters in Bahrain.
They are using also the Saudis, Emirates and the Kuwaitis recruiting. We have grown-up weapons. They could easily kill everybody, but we will not die.
And reports that Libyan troops have recaptured a key town as they push towards the last rebel-held cities. Hello. Radioactive material has been released from Japan's stricken Fukushima nuclear plant after 2 more explosions and a fire on Tuesday. Radiation has fallen back from its highest levels, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency. But a French assessment of the crisis puts it at a level 6 emergency, just 1 notch below the Chernobyl disaster. Well, Tuesday's fire sent clouds of low-level radioactive material from the reactor's spent fuel into the atmosphere. Anyone living within 20 kilometres of Fukushima has been warned to leave, and those within 30 kilometres to stay inside their homes. Japanese police now say 3,373 people are known to have been killed by the quake and tsunami, but tens of thousands are still missing. And Japan's main stock market slumped more than 10% on Tuesday, its 3rd biggest one-day fall. The central bank is pumping a further $98 billion into the economy on top of $183 billion released on Monday. Well, in the last hour, the Director General of the International Atomic Energy Agency, Yukiya Amano, has said there might be limited core damage at the number 2 unit of the Fukushima power plant. He also confirmed radiation levels near Tokyo appear normal.
Radioactivity was observed at off-site radiological situation, but no significant level of radioactive isotopes of iodine and cesium have been found near Tokyo.
Al Jazeera's Harry Fawcett joins me live from Akita. So, Harry, every day is sort of a new development on the nuclear front that makes it even more worrying for people there. So what's the general atmosphere like?
Well, I think it's hard to talk about a turn for the worse when you think of just how bad the situation has been in northeastern Japan and throughout Japan since the earthquake and the tsunami hit. The devastation is really something to behold. But in terms of the nuclear story, since we discovered on Saturday that there was a serious problem with the Fukushima number 1 nuclear power plant, I think Tuesday was the day that people in Japan just discovered how serious the situation was.
At the Fukushima number 1 power plant.
It wasn't unexpected news, but still a shock, yet another one when it came. A 3rd explosion at Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, this time reactor 2. But it was the news conference well after the event which unveiled another previously unknown danger. A fire at the suspended reactor 4, radiation from its spent fuel leaking into the atmosphere. For the first time, the government saying a danger was being posed to human health.
We have already requested that people in a 20-kilometer radius evacuate, but now we also ask residents who live in nearby neighborhoods to evacuate immediately. And those within a 30-kilometer radius, we ask that you please stay indoors.
Meanwhile, the effort goes on to cool the 3 active reactors, an effort complicated by the fact that number 2's reactor floor appears to have been damaged.
We will continue to add water to the pressure container, but we have asked staff who are not needed for this process to temporarily move to a safe area in the plant.
It's the 3rd blast in 4 days. Saturday saw reactor 1 blow its roof, reactor 3 followed on Monday, and on Tuesday the fire, now extinguished, causing the dormant reactor 4 to pose perhaps the biggest threat.
All around Japan, people are digesting this news. Here in the north, as in recent days, we've seen long queues for petrol. But the increasing threat from Fukushima puts an ever greater premium on a full tank and the ability to travel.
In Fukushima's capital, about 70 kilometers away from the plant, empty streets, a sign of how nervous people are.
I'm worried about radiation affecting us here and causing health problems. I'm also concerned about whether we have to evacuate.
Thousands have already been moved to makeshift shelters. The government is urging calm, but the information in recent days has been anything but clear. Uncertainty and fear are growing with the radiation levels.
So, Harry, you mentioned the information being far from clear there. Do people feel that the government is being completely honest with them? And are they getting, the information as the government gets it, or do they feel that the government is holding back at all?
I think there is a growing sense of frustration at the very least, and anger in a lot of cases about the extent to which they're being informed what is happening at this nuclear power station. I've been both to the evacuation centre, well, at least one evacuation centre near the plant, about 35 kilometres from the plant. I've also been to an area which was completely wiped out by the tsunami, and the attitude of people differs somewhat. The people who are next to a town which they were born in and grew up in and have seen just wiped from the map, they're pretty resigned to what is happening. They seem to think that the government is doing all it can to help clear up and recover, and that really this is an act of nature which really no one could have prepared for or accounted for. The people at the evacuation centre, on the other hand, are pretty angry with the situation of what they're being told, what is actually happening at the power plant. The fact is that the sorts of news conferences we've been getting over recent days have been really pretty confused, and the tone of the questions being asked of the officials and of government spokesmen, senior government members, has become a lot harder because as the situation has got worse, there seems to have been an unwillingness, or at least not enough knowledge, not enough ability to tell people exactly what is going on and the extent to which they are under threat. And so I think there is a growing sense of frustration at the very least with what is coming out from the government and from the Tokyo Electric Power Company.
OK, Harry, thank you very much indeed. Harry Fawcett live for us there in Japan with the latest. Well, Japan's economic losses are mounting by the day. Tokyo's stock market has recorded its third biggest one-day fall on record. The Nikkei closing down 10.5% at the close of trade. That's in addition to a 6% fall on Monday. As well as the $183 billion injected into money markets on Monday, the central bank has made another $98 billion available to the economy. Well, nearly 500,000 Japanese people have been evacuated from their homes. 4 days after the disaster struck, many are still desperately trying to contact family and friends. Tom Ackerman reports.